Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving back.
I love it.
I do too. The food is amazing. And I'm really, this year, I've been thinking about, things I'm thankful for. I am so thankful that you replied to my Facebook post about doing a Chattanooga-based true crime
I'm so
podcast.
glad. I'm so thankful you posted on Facebook. Would anyone want to do a Chattanooga-based crime cast? I was like, pick me.
I'm so glad we did that. I mean, I feel like it's pivoted my life,
Yeah, no, same.
It changed me.
Yeah, I can already, knowing you so well, like, it's been really cool to, like, watch your evolution this past year and a half, 2 years almost, I feel like, from, like, when we first started discussing it.
Talking about it.
But how it changed you, I felt like it, like, saved me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, big time, especially last year, like, after we first launched it. I feel like looking back, I didn't know it then because you never know when it's actually happening. Looking back, I was entering like a really dark depression. Honestly, probably the only real bout of like true depression, like depression I've ever gone through. There have been moments and times, but this was like the one thing I'm like, oh, okay. I was like happy and willing to get out of bed and do things that were expired, like to dive into the cases and to come to the office or go to the floor where we used to record where we started.
Yeah.
But no, I like how it's changed you. I feel like it really saved me because it was like the one thing that, I don't know, it was like an escape, but a healthy escape.
Kept you going.
It literally was a thing that just like kept my nose and mouth like out of the water.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it was like every Thursday, it was like I could be below the water, but as Thursday came closer, I get higher to the surface. So I feel like expired has been obviously life-changing for both of us, which is crazy. But also, like, if you weren't so great and I wasn't so great, it wouldn't have been, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Great people.
We're just great.
Okay, so this podcast is brought to you by TTM Lifestyle.
Woohoo!
Because they let us use their, well, you're kind of sleeping with the boss. So, I
mean, I'm not mad about it on any front.
Keep sleeping with the boss. TTM Lifestyle. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by you. 3 things that matter to you.
I would definitely say my family, which family for me isn't just like blood relatives, like my family, my friends, my people, my family, my kids, my extended family through my oldest son, my family, sports families, all the family people that help this circus run stop to stop. And the second one I would say would be probably like animals, nature, the sun, trees, anything that's not human with a heartbeat, or that gives life to things with heartbeats. I feel like that for me helps me learn how to be empathetic, think from a different point of view, be creative. So nature, animals. Number 3, I have a tie for number 3, and I think now that I'm old enough and my give a damn is even more busted than it has been kind of like my whole life. I'm just going to say I'm thankful for me.
Good for you.
Because
you made it.
You
got through everything and for however many years.
Yeah, and I feel like this year for sure, and especially after last year and like going through the depression and really working through it healthily, like not in a rushed way, ignorance way, ignoring way, or pushing down way. I feel like I really got to know myself a lot and just kind of sat with my shit type of thing, like sat in the mud puddle, which was very beneficial. But I think for me, I just want everyone, like this Thanksgiving, like be thankful for yourself because you're the one doing it. Like you have to answer to yourself every night. You have to greet yourself every morning. You've got to pick yourself up. Even if someone knows your struggles, they don't know moment to moment to moment to hour. You're the one that has to do that. You've got to guide yourself. It's up to you to make good decisions. It's up to you to be helpful or be accountable or whatever. Like it's you. So be thankful for yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you're questioning that, don't question yourself. Question what road you're taking right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't question who you are or what's wrong with you or why am I questioning this? I shouldn't be questioning myself. Don't question yourself. Just question what's going on around you and what you can do differently where that's not a question anymore. Because we're all in this together, but we're kind of all in it alone.
With yourself. Yeah.
So I'm thankful for me.
Good for you. I'm thankful for you.
Thank you.
And I'm thankful for me.
Good.
Because I've made it.
You did.
I've made it this far.
Look at you.
Look how far I can go.
And look how quickly you learn.
Yeah.
And you teach too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're so great.
Okay. 3 things that matter to me. People in my life. My friends, family, the people around me. Second, I think would be like media, just because I work in media with radio and podcasting. I love like watching TV and, just the different ways that you can manipulate media.
Yes.
Like it's like its own form of art. And then I think the last one would be art because, I was a theater kid, choir kid. Love that.
Do you still have a flute?
No, I sold it back to my daddy's pawn shop.
Okay, well, we're going to find a flute and we're going to need you to play it. Okay.
I could probably pick up some of the things.
I bet you could.
Yeah, because
Billy plays the drums.
Does he?
He was in the band.
Are we gonna have an expired band? That'd be so fucking cool. Yeah, and then the last thing would just be arts, just singing, dancing, performing, musical instruments. All of the things, acting, painting, sculpting, like
writing.
Writing. I love to write. I write, our episodes each week of like how we're gonna
lay it
about
out.
it. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like
you're a creator.
Yes, I'm creative. I'm very creative. I love to create stuff and things. So
it's funny every morning when we're on our way to either school or the school bus stop, depending on which kid I'm driving. And we're listening to the radio and you come on and they're like, there's Natalie. Is she really like, that's her right now? And I'm like, yes. They ask that every time, like it's going to change. Like I'm going to be like, no, she recorded that traffic today 10 days ago. But no, they're like, there's Natalie.
That's so nice. That's
Natalie.
I love that. I love that.
I love that it's like such a positive thing in the beginning of their day. You know what I'm saying? Like they it's like immediate, just like joy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, Natalie, there she is.
I know her.
We know Natalie.
Yeah.
That's so great.
That's so nice. Okay, so thank you, TTM.
Yes. So speaking of TTM, like bringing this week's episode to the listeners, if you this week TTM turns 10 years old.
Yay!
This Black Friday 10 years ago was the day we launched TTM.
Wow.
I remember sitting at the Thanksgiving table like on Black Friday.
And midnight. Looking at your phone?
Midnight. We all both had our computers with Taylor's family. We were all in Texas and watching to see if like people were ordering stuff. And we probably sat up for like 2 hours, honestly, playing beer pong and like letting the chimes play from like the orders. But so happy birthday, TTM. Happy Thanksgiving. And Expired Podcast and TTM together use the code at ttmlifestyle.com. Use the code EXPIRED, all capital letters, EXPIRED, and you get 35% off your entire order, and you're not going to regret it.
No, comfiest clothes. You can wear it. It's like you said, it's something you can wear every day, but different options.
You can dress it up. You can dress it down.
Yep.
You can wear it
to bed.
I literally sleep. I wear it. The only reason I'm not wearing a TTM shirt right now is because the Texas Rangers won the World Series, and our championship T-shirts just came in the mail. So, and I'll be honest, I love the Rangers and glad they won, but this T-shirt sucks. It's tough owning a clothing line that has the best T-shirts because I can never wear other T-shirts.
Yeah. They're just not as comfy.
They're not the best.
I think this is the first time probably all season 3 that you have not worn TTM. It's just because it came in the mail today.
Yeah. Yep, that's facts. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to this week. We're going to update y'all on a few cases that we have covered previously on Expired, but we're going to be updating you and kind of looking a little bit more into right now the 3 cases and they're all missing children. They are still actively missing persons cases from Tennessee. So Summer Wells, she was actually our second case for Expired. This case gets me all the time. It's very weird. Makes me uncomfortable in like all the ways being uncomfortable can feel. She is still missing. She's from Hawkins County in Rogersville, Tennessee. And then we're also going to be talking about Bethany Markowski's case from 2001. She disappeared from Old Hickory Mall in Jackson, Tennessee. And then the third case is Tennessee's longest Amber Alert, and it is still active to this day. Her name is Chloe Leverett, and her brother is Gage Daniel of Unionville, Tennessee. And obviously this time of year with the holidays and stuff, if you have loved ones that you've lost or loved ones that have disappeared or are missing, it's terrible. I mean, I know going through the holiday season with loved ones that you've lost, or going through a holiday season knowing it will be the last one.
Yeah.
None of that is fun, but I cannot imagine, and I hope that I'd never have to understand what it would feel like to go through a holiday season without someone and without answers and without closure. Yeah. You know, like, oh, it's awful. It's tough. We just want to highlight these 3 cases and the 4 kids that are still missing, and hopefully just bring awareness, keep their names alive, and keep their cases and these kids on everyone's radar, really.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's start it off with Summer Wells. Summer Wells is still missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. This happened on June 15th, 2021, so very, very recent. She lived with her mom and dad and 3 older brothers in rural Hawkins County. They lived on a pretty big piece of land. There was a house and a camper on the land. The camper was used to house the mom's mom. So the grandma lived there. And several dogs were on the land, and it was a very wooded area. So you really wouldn't know that the house was there unless you like knew the family or were friends of the family. So on the day she went missing, she was with her mother Candace and her grandmother Candy. They were actually headed to a doctor's appointment for Grandma Candy in a neighboring town because their town was so small. So while Grandma was at the hospital for her appointment, Candace texted her ex-best friend's 15-year-old son. to see if he wants to hang out with her in summer, which is not uncommon for this area. Like, if me and my best friend were in a riff, she would still trust me with her son. And
Yeah.
same thing, I feel like.
Sorry, Bentley's wrestling coach called me.
You need to call back?
I just texted Taylor to see if he had talked to him. The coach. I don't know. That maybe in a second. I'm
Okay.
just waiting.
So it wouldn't be uncommon for like a ex best friend to take care of your kid
No.
if you needed it.
No, not
or
for
like
me.
wanted to hang out, or
I mean, I would say for me there's like only like 2 people that if we had a falling out, I would most definitely like I would not find it uh weird or inappropriate for them to still, text Bentley and check on him or wish him a happy birthday
Yeah.
or send him like photos from the past or whatever.
Yeah.
At all. And those same 2, like I would still 100% trust to take care of my kids no matter what had happened between us.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, that's few and far between,
Yeah.
but it is possible.
Yeah.
That's not
unheard of.
right.
So they decide to go to the ex best friend's house to pick up the 15-year-old boy. They made a couple of stops. They stopped at a vape shop. They stopped at a gas station for Twisted Teas. Love Twisted Teas, by the way. And then they went to a local watering hole.
Wait, is Twisted Tea like the yellow and blue can? Those are good. And I don't even like tea.
See?
I like peach tea.
You would
and
like
I think the peach.
peach
I think the peach is the one I tried.
It's good.
I don't know what's happening.
You want me to continue or stop?
Yeah.
Okay. So Candace picks up the 15-year-old, and Summer, and the 15-year-old go down to like a watering hole. Summer loved to swim. She was all about being in the water. She's 5 years old. Of course she is. So then the 3 go back to the hospital to pick up Grandma Candy. She's done with her appointment. They stop at a grocery store, a different vape shop, and then Walgreens for prescriptions for Grandma Candy.
Why are they going to so many vape shops?
I don't know.
Vape shops this stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe they were looking for something specific.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, they went to, yeah. So when they're in the line at Walgreens to get Grandma Candy's prescriptions, Dawn, who is Summer's dad, calls and says, "Hey, I'm about to head home. It's going to take me like an hour to get there." So then they drop the 15-year-old off at his house before they head back home. And when they return home to the 3 boys who had stayed there all day watching cartoons, red flag. Big
red flag.
Yeah, they all helped like unpack the groceries, get them into the house. And then Grandma Candy wanted to repot some succulents.
Of course she did.
She did. That was on her to-do list for that day.
I can't wait to be that old.
I know, me too. So she asked Summer to help, and after Summer had done that, Grandma Candy gave her a piece of candy. It was, that's what grandparents do. So Candace had come to help them with the repotting of plants, and also with a knee brace, which was why she had been at the hospital at the doctor's appointment, was because of her knee. And she was actually helping her with a knee brace, getting it on. And so Summer, when she's done repotting and eating her candy, is like, "Hey, can I go watch cartoons with my brothers?" So Candace walks her the short link between the camper and the house into the house with the boys and says, "Hey, watch Summer. I'll be back very shortly." She goes, helps her mom put on the knee brace, and then goes back in. She's gone 5 minutes. Now their house is very oddly
laid out.
You almost have to like go under a kitchen counter to get to the bottom portion, and it's like just like 2 big rooms with an external door. Now, Summer, Candace, and Dawn all stayed down there because she's the baby of the family, and she would either stay in her room or stay in bed with them. And the door was in the parents' room, and it went outside. And when Candace went to look for Summer, she couldn't find her, so she goes downstairs and finds that door cracked. And she wouldn't normally go out without telling someone,
right, or someone with her,
right? But this is a rural area. Maybe she went out there just to like play with her dogs or play on the little patio that they had. But yeah, Candace claims she was gone for 5 minutes and never knew anything about anything that happened to Summer. She couldn't find her after that.
And did the boys have anything to say?
No, they said that Summer came in and she went downstairs to play in like her little room. But then when Candace went down there to look for Summer, she was nowhere to be found. Except for the door was like slightly open, which could have been anything. Like I keep my door open, all the time. It's crazy.
There's so many questions around this case for me.
Yeah.
And it's like the answers, it's almost like there's too many answers. When you look and see like, okay, was there a reasoning for this, or was there an explanation for this? Like there's almost too many.
Yeah.
That have no depth to them.
And it's weird because the parents have done so many interviews, which is weird to me.
So
at the time, Summer Moon Utah Wells was 5 years old. She had short blonde hair and blue eyes. She stood at only 3 feet and was about 40 pounds. Many people believe that maybe the family had something to do with it, but others believe that a stranger or a friend of the family took Summer.
I'm on the latter.
Yeah. Very possible.
Anything is possible, to be honest.
Yeah. The story remains open. It has been investigated by national news sources, including Dr. Phil. So go watch, because he has like stress test, like
it's like a polygraph on steroids.
Yeah. And all the content. Find it on YouTube because it's insane. It's insane. Just the way they act just throws me off.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Very weird. She is still missing. So if you know anything, be on the lookout for a now 7-year-old, blonde hair, blue eyed, white female
who would probably answer to Summer, or even possibly if she heard Wells. And also you don't have to just call like the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department or the is it Rogersville, Tennessee, like the city. Like you can call your local law enforcement and tell them what you need to tell them.
Or 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Yes.
That's always like the place we always are. 1-800-TBI-FIND. I feel like we say it a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We do a lot of Tennessee cases.
Yes. Yeah, if you know anything, you can remain anonymous with your information and your tips if you're worried about that. But either way, like we always say, if you are questioning if you should call. If it crosses your mind, call. Always call.
Yep.
Okay, so I've talked to Bentley. So he's fine. Taylor hasn't texted me back yet.
Okay.
He's taking the kids to wrestling practice. I'm thinking Blake was probably calling me because he probably needed me to either run practice tonight or score the middle school match that's also currently happening, because no one else knows how to keep score. I'm hoping that's what it is. All right, Bentley said he's talked to Taylor, so everyone's alive. Anyways, have kids, they said.
Yeah.
Fun, they said. And record podcasts every week in the evening when they're not at school. Okay, our next case is Bethany Markowski. She was 11 years old when she was last seen by her father in the parking lot of the Old Hickory Shopping Mall in Jackson, Tennessee, on the afternoon of March 4th, 2001. Bethany had gone into the mall alone while her father waited for her in the car. For anyone that's like, who would let their 11-year-old do that?
It's 2001 in Tennessee.
Dude, yes. My parents,
I did that.
Yes, all the time. It's insane how times change. Like how our parents are like, oh, we never had car seats or seat belts, and we smoked in the hospital room and on airplanes and all this stuff. Like, it was not at all remotely weird for an 11-year-old to go in the mall and walk around in 2001.
Yes.
While their parents waited in the car. It was not weird, especially in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Probably elsewhere too.
Right.
So not weird. But after approximately 2 hours had passed, Bethany's father went into the mall to look for his daughter, but he was unable to locate her. Investigative efforts have revealed that Bethany was last seen after a trip to Little Rock, Arkansas. Her mother and father had recently divorced, and there was a restraining order out between Johnny and Larry, which were her parents. On her first visit to her father, facilitated by an aunt, Bethany went missing. Today, well, do we want to go into theories about this? I don't know. I'm not convinced that this wasn't a stranger, an abduction.
Could have been.
It does not help the restraining order and the custody situation and the way that this all lined up and the other things. Go back for all the cases we mentioned today. If you want more details, just go on our podcast page, search for Summer Wells or Bethany Markowski, or the longest active Amber Alert, or the longest Amber Alert in Tennessee history. We go way more into detail about all of these cases on those episodes.
Yes.
So today, Bethany would be 35, and she has been missing for 22 years. There is an updated missing persons age progression photo of Bethany and what she might look like today.
And if you're in Tennessee, you might actually see it on the little monitor when you're pumping gas.
Where the thing that pops up.
Crazy. And her mom is so sweet.
Yes.
And her dad seems genuine too. So I'm like,
really?
What happened? Like,
I really think this might be like a stranger abduction thing.
It could have been. It very well could have been. And I think that's why it's very important to continue to keep these missing children's names out there.
Especially after this long, because after this long, a kid that's 11 who is now a 35-year-old woman, she could have forgotten things. You know what I mean? Like,
brainwash is a real thing.
Yes. She could have forgotten her name, first and last. She could have forgotten where she's from. She could have forgotten how old she actually is. She could have forgotten or been brainwashed so much that she doesn't remember, without thinking about it, that she was at a mall with her dad in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that could happen. All it takes is media, news, TV, podcasts, radio, the little pump at the gas station. But like, the more people keep talking about it, if she's out there, she's gonna hear something. Someone's gonna see something.
Or someone's gonna remember something of that time.
Yes.
And be like, oh my gosh, was that what I think I saw? I'm gonna call
TBI
Holy crap. Just tell them, even if it doesn't go anywhere. Like,
right.
At least you told someone.
Yes, because it could very well lead exactly to where everyone would hope it would lead.
100.
So, and all tips, all sightings, all information are
relevant.
Even if it doesn't lead, it could lead to something else, completely, totally not related.
Yeah.
But still, again, if you think you should call.
Just call.
Yep.
Okay, Tennessee's longest Amber Alert is still active for Chloe Leverett and Gage Daniel. This was our first interview with victims' family, which was amazing. So go look that up. We talked to Chloe and Gage's mom. So
she was amazing.
She was. She really is. She's still fighting.
I really wanted to like hug her through the phone.
Yeah, and just continue to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, be listening for an update of this episode so that we can include families' testimonials. So Chloe and Gage, they were brother and sister. Chloe was 9 and her little brother Gage was 7. They were actually living with their grandparents, Molly and Bubba McLaren, on a big piece of land in Bedford County. The only reason that they were living with their grandparents is because their mom was struggling with substance abuse and mental health and just trying to be a better person. And
she was in recovery, I think.
Right. And she was just trying to like get her life on track so that she could have them full time.
She could parent them.
Exactly.
Right.
And it would just seem better to have this, big piece of land and 2 people that were going to provide for them and make sure that they were doing all the right things.
Yep.
So after a weekend spent at their mother's, because the mom, Crystal, is very involved. In September of 2012, the 2 kids were seen playing in their yard by a neighbor. A neighbor had driven by the McLaren land and was like, oh, there's, Chloe and Gage. They're playing with their dog. Well, later that night, a fire had broken out. Now, the remains of Molly and Bubba were found. The remains of the family pet dog and pet bird were found, but no DNA from Chloe or Gage was ever found on that property. So they're still missing. They're still missing children at this point. There was no evidence of DNA from Chloe or Gage that they had been killed there. So many people believe they had spotted 1 or 2 of them in Cleveland, which is just near here, with a lady
right up the road.
Right up the road.
At like a little diner restaurant thing.
And some of the family members have thought that the sketch of the woman Chloe was with looked familiar. And when talking to Chloe and Gage's mom, she has some theories about what happened.
Definitely.
She does not believe Chloe and Gage were killed in that fire.
No, and
I don't.
No, I don't either. And law enforcement doesn't either.
And if there's honestly, no
evidence proves that they weren't, because if you can find the remains of a bird and a dog and people that were victims in this fire that did die, there's no reason they would not find 2 children remains.
Yeah.
I feel like we have the same theory on this one. I feel like that was only not solidified for me, but it definitely, after talking with their mom, for me that was like, okay, so the theory kind of is universal at this point for anyone that knows. But
yeah,
I'd be interested to know what our listeners think about it.
I would love that.
But yeah, again, go on our podcast page and just search for the title is The Longest Amber Alert in Tennessee History.
Yes, and then the Bethany Markowski case and the Summer Wells case. Just go back, search it, you'll find it.
We've got all the information in those. And like Natalie said, we will have, in a few weeks, look for an update where we get to hear and like actually get updates and talk further with loved ones and family members of the missing children, who some of them would be full-fledged adults now.
I know.
Sad.
I would just love to crack something, you know?
Freaking too. Yeah. Also, if you don't want to call, because you don't believe in the anonymity of it, if you send us a message on expired with information, we call.
Oh, I talked to TBI Fine just last week.
No,
they're on my email list.
I'm surprised they haven't put us on the block this caller.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, we're passionate.
We are.
You know, if you're not as passionate, that is A-okay.
Or if you are afraid.
Yeah.
Because I get that. Like, if you are afraid that you will not remain anonymous, not by your choice, or actions, but by other people, whatever, like, that's fine. Like, we will call.
No shame in our game.
Yeah,
none.
0 fucks given.
Absolutely.
About anonymity. Oh man. No, these cases they're harsh, they're evil, and someone knows something in every single one of them.
Someone knows something, and justice is deserved.
All the way around.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Children should never.
No. And parents should never, and siblings should never, and people that have been wrongfully questioned and like thought of as the perpetrator or the murderer or the kidnapper, or like, they deserve their name to be cleared as well, you know. And then people who have been thought to do it that actually did it deserve, like, justice needs to be served. But I would blow the whole world up.
I know.
It would be so bad.
I know. Well, that's why we got to keep fighting for it.
Yes. So. Awareness. Share these posts on your Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And wherever you download your podcast.
Yes. Listen there, but also follow us, because then you can share these things, and then other people will see the names or see the pictures or listen as well. And the more awareness there is, the better chance of bringing closure and justice to these families and the victims.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm thankful for the life that I live.
I am too. I'm thankful for a lot.
I know.
I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm
all
very blessed, sometimes lucky, mostly blessed.
Yeah.
Person. And don't forget to go to ttmlifestyle.com. Use the code expired, all caps, EXPIRED, for 35% off your entire order. Happy birthday, TTM. Happy Thanksgiving from Expired Podcast. And if you're going to be an asshole, be a funny one.
And if you're going to do meth, don't. This is the Expired Podcast.
Bye.